Okay, we'll get started here in a few minutes. See if anybody else joins this evening. I had nothing planned for this evening, but thunderstorms all day in and out. It may storm again and I may lose power. If that happens, well, I won't be here. So we'll talk a little bit about tonight. Tonight we'll talk a little bit about some news from this week. A product called the Textalyzer. That's interesting. We'll give it a few more minutes and see if anybody else jumps on the live feed. So, if anybody's there, don't be shy. Say hello. Okay, we have C128D. Hi. Nope, not even close to an invasion of privacy. They have the right to check for intoxication, and texting is just about as dangerous. Okay. I would tend to agree. I have some personal thoughts about this, but see, I wanted to see if we can get some more people to jump on. So, by the way, mic check. Can you hear me okay? Phone call. Not that important. Anyway. Yeah, it's apparently it's illegal to text and drive. You cannot text and drive in 47 states. That would mean it's legal to drive in 3 states. Of course, my question is why? Oh man. That's crazy. Five by 5. Cool, thanks, C. How's things up in you are in don't tell me. I want to say Montana, but you are in Minnesota, right? I think. How's things up there? It's humid today here in Ohio. Man, it's muggy. Hopefully it'll be nice by tomorrow night for the outdoor concert here in town. The summer music series. I think tomorrow night is the Army Jazz Band called the Jazz Ambassadors. I like jazz. So yeah, we'll see if anybody else can jump on. Again, I didn't really have this schedule, but with the weather being kind of crappy tonight, can't go for a walk, can't go swimming outside, so here I am. Wisconsin, okay. Alright, just north of Green Bay. 75 degrees, yeah. Yeah, it's about the same here, but it's like 90% humidity, so it's nasty. So I have a little fan here running by a fan by Panasonic that still runs. Let me check my articles here. So looks like we're good to go. So hopefully somebody else will jump on. Again, if anybody's watching, don't be shy. Stop by, say hello. This is a beginner's channel talking about anything related to technology. So if you're there watching, please stop by and say hello. I think tonight, later on, I think Rocco from Big Daddy Linux may jump on, as far as I know. So you may want to check that out. He is part of the Destination Linux weekly podcast. So check that out too. But yeah, just the other day I was driving home here in a residential street, and man, someone just blew through a stop sign. They kind of slowed down, but they went through it. I don't know if they were texting, but as if it's not bad enough if people are not paying attention. Now they got to text and drive. It's more comfortable outside than it is inside. The text blocker for bikes. I haven't seen that. See, what exactly is a text blocker for bikes? I don't know that one. Is it like a bikealyzer, a textalyzer for bikes, like motorcycles? I really don't know. Jotting down some notes. I haven't ridden a bike in years, so I should buy one for the summer. But here with the hills and stuff, a lot of hills, it's kind of rough. I have to pick a I was gonna say a flight path, not a flight, but a flat path to ride a bicycle, 10-speed bike. So, but yeah, it's texting and driving. It's bad. It's really bad. It's all it takes is a few seconds to be what they call distracted driving, and it's really, really bad, and people still do it. Alright, see what you got here. It's a physical lock that you unlock via the phone. That turns off everything except calls to emergency services. Okay, alright, physical lock. Okay. I could see that. Sure. Let's check in the stream here. Looks like it's healthy. Okay. Somebody mentioned, what about a device in the car that disables texting in the car? Well, what about passengers who I have no problem texting? You know, really, it's really ultimately it's up to the driver, the person in control of the car, to choose to drive safely. At least that's my opinion. Alright, so what I'll do here, I'll jump into some of these articles, and I'll try to keep track of the chat session for tonight. Once again, this is an unscheduled live event, so just something for me to share my thoughts and maybe share your thoughts about distracted driving and something new called the Textalyzer, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to switch screens here. Okay, so it's like the microphone's still on. Very good. I'll leave that there. Alright, so the Textalyzer. How the Textalyzer can tell if you're texting while driving. Textalyzer aims to curb distracted driving. And I read this article, but what about privacy? Watch out for the Textalyzer. It sounds like a sequel or a movie, a sequel to the Terminator or something. It sounds dangerous. The machine itself isn't necessarily dangerous, but according to Wikipedia, the Textalyzer is a proposed device that would act as a breathalyzer for text messaging. The device has been promoted as a means of reducing distracted driving. The device would be used by police officers who suspect that a driver has been texting while driving, using similar procedures currently in place for drivers suspected of driving under the influence. The device would be connected to the driver's mobile phone and would scan the phone for calls, emails, or text messages sent when the driver would have been operating the device. In 2016, legislation was introduced in the New York Senate to implement the use of Textalyzers. Well, good for them. That's what I can say about that. Okay, let's see here. Dutch invented phone app to stop kids texting on bikes. Okay. I never really thought about bikes, see, but I guess that could potentially be a problem, sure. Let me go to the next article here. I want to do this one last, but Yeah, a device the size of an electronic tablet, hailed by its creators as a tool in the fight against distracted driving, but critics call it a major invasion of privacy. Let's see here, like a breathalyzer, the Textalyzer would be used by police after a car accident. And police could use it following an accident to determine whether the driver was distracted by a phone. Right now, the only way police can find out is with a search warrant, allowing them to download that data. And this is really the crazy part. Texting and driving is illegal, well, in 47 states. Why is it not illegal in all 50 states? I don't get that. Maybe someone out there can explain this to me. So the company that makes this is Cellbrite. I believe that's a machine that also can transfer information from one phone to another when you buy a new phone, such as contacts, stuff like that. Oh, let's see. Can I put a link in chat? But Google it to find the article, and I'm in favor of blocking anything but emergency service on phones by anyone. Okay, fair enough. Let's see, in a blocked off parking lot. Okay, so there was a test done with this, and I think I caught this briefly, so I won't go into all of this. Let's see here. There's no guarantee that when you hand over your cell phone over to the police officer that the officer will be looking at or copying all kinds of personal data about you, according to the American Civil Liberties Union. That is certainly a fair point. And there's more information here. Let's go to the NHTSA. This is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, I believe. Yeah. Jeff Lennox Turner from Canada. Hello, thanks for stopping in. In Canada, they were riding city buses and watching people text in their cars and record everything. Oops. Oh, the cops were riding the bus. That's even better. Yeah, I would imagine you can get a good view from the bus, huh, Jeff? Wow. How would you like to have your car and yourself plastered all over the 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock news? Yeah, that would make you famous overnight, wouldn't it, Jeff? Oh, man. All right, let's go into this article. Again, if anybody else is joining late, we're talking about a product called the Textalyzer as a means to prevent distracted driving. Is it a tool that can save lives, or is it an invasion of privacy? I'm going to share with you my thoughts here in a few minutes. Let's see. I remember I grew up helping my dad with his towing service. Pulled a few too many dead and severely mangled bodies out of wrecks. Oh man, was this before the texting and driving? Was it before that or just when it started? Yeah, it's very sad, but it certainly can be prevented. Texting while driving, it can wait. All right, let's go to this here overview. This is the this is from the United States Department of Transportation. Distracted driving is dangerous, claiming 3,477 lives in 2015 alone. I didn't check for last year, but this is bad enough. The NHTSA leads a national effort to save lives by preventing this dangerous behavior. You got the facts. Okay. That tends to color my thoughts on the matter that was back in the 60s. Okay, fair enough. Distraction is deadly. Well, there's no coloring the facts here. This is a fact. Yeah, don't do it. It's that simple. What is distracted driving? Well, we all know, but it's any activity that diverts attention from driving, including talking, texting on your phone, eating, drinking, talking to people in your vehicle, fiddling with the stereo, entertainment, or navigation system. Anything that takes your attention away from the task of driving. That's true. It doesn't necessarily have to be you text. It could be fiddling, with your stereo or talking to somebody else. But by far, I would say the most dangerous is taking your eyes off the road for multiple seconds, maybe a minute to text. You cannot drive safely unless the task of driving has your full attention. Any non-driving activity you engage is in a potential distraction and increases your risk of crashing. So in 2015, 3,477 people killed, 391,000 were injured. Let that sink in. 391,000. During daylight hours, approximately 660,000 drivers are using cell phones. I think it's more than that. Using cell phones while driving, that creates enormous potential for deaths and injuries on U.S. roads. Well, not just here, probably everywhere. Teens were the largest age group reported as distracted at the time of fatal crashes. There's a link here for more statistics. We have to go into that. All right, so the NHTSA leads the fight nationally against distracted driving. Yeah. The law, your state legislature and governor make the laws regarding distracted driving. Many states now have laws. They do, but it's only in 47 states, and I don't get that one. I really don't. We can all play a part in the fight to save lives by ending distracted driving. But this is such a good article. Teens can be the best messengers with their peers, so we encourage them to speak up when they see a friend driving while distracted. To have their friends sign a pledge to never drive distracted, to become involved in their local students against destructive decisions chapter. I wasn't aware about that one. And to share messages on social media that remind their friends, family, and neighbors not to make the deadly choice to drive distracted. Parents first have to lead by example by never driving distracted, as well as have a talk with their young driver about distraction and all of the responsibilities that come with driving. Have everyone in the family sign the pledge to commit a distraction-free driving. Remind your teen driver that in the states with, graduated driver licensing, GDL, a violation of distracted driving laws could mean a delayed or suspended license. Oscar, yeah, thanks for stopping in. We're talking about distracted driving, texting and driving. We've talked about a new device called the Textalyzer. And it's a form of a sort of like a breathalyzer. Company Cellbrite makes it, and if you are involved in a wreck and an accident, this device is plugged into your phone to see if you were texting while driving versus, say, drunk while driving. Let's see. Educators and employers can play a part too. Spread the word at your school or workplace about the dangers of distracted driving. Ask your students to commit to distraction-free driving or set a company policy. Okay? If you feel strongly about distracted driving, be a voice in your community. Well, I am. I am a voice here on the social platform YouTube in this community. So absolutely, be a voice. Say something. Say something, save a life. How's that for a motto? Don't text and drive. And there's some more information here. Okay, I won't go into any more of this. I think you guys get the picture about what's going on here. So these are my thoughts about this matter. You have every right to your privacy. You have every right to stay secure. We've talked about privacy on the web, the NSA and stuff like that. So yeah, you have an absolute right to your privacy. You have an absolute right to use your phone inside your car. I suppose you have an absolute right to stupidity. and maybe to absolute stupidity. But the right to your privacy ends. It stops. That right, in my opinion, ends when you endanger lives, either yours or somebody else. So that's my personal opinion on something called the Textalyzer. You have a right to your privacy, but that stops, that ends, that right ends when you do something extremely stupid. You know, I've said this in the past, but never underestimate the power of stupidity. And I'm not trying to be funny here. I see crazy stuff almost every single day, and how do you stop it? I suppose you can never completely stop ultra stupidity, but we can't stop trying. You know, this thing called the Textalyzer is, I suppose, one firewall, one shield to prevent what's called distracted driving. Saying something about it, like I am. Look, if it saves one life, it's worth it, man. It's totally worth it. Anyway, I don't want to preach tonight, but those are my thoughts on the Textalyzer, distracted driving, and the so-called invasion of privacy. Your right to privacy ends when you are, well, when you have the possibility of killing someone. So, let's see. Oscar, interesting. Due to having cerebral palsy, I can't drive, so that's kind of a plus for me in a way. I never thought about that, but okay. I guess that makes you ultra safe, Oscar. Yeah, if you are in somehow any way incapacitated, drunk, sick, don't drive. Your car becomes a weapon, and needless to say, it can do a lot of damage. So, right, I'll stay gone for a few more minutes to see if anybody else jumps in here, and then we'll call it a night. In case you guys want to jump on the live events happening later on here on YouTube. All right, your right to privacy ends when there is a reasonable suspicion that you were breaking the law. Okay, just like having to submit to a breathalyzer or blood test or forfeit your right to drive. I'm with you, see? Yeah. Absolutely. I remember once in California years ago, I was at a bar with a friend of mine, and there was a law that maybe still is where if I was, quote, the designated driver, I could have all the free drinks I wanted, non-alcoholic. I'm like, okay, I'll take a Coke or a Pepsi. But that's a great law if it still exists. Jeff, your phone goes in the glove box and ringer turned off. Okay, that's cool. I usually, or I try to wear my Bluetooth. Not this, but Bluetooth. I have like 3 different kinds when driving, and at least that way I can keep my hands on the wheel and focus on the road. I think privacy is dead in general. Just read the Microsoft EULA. MS is not encouraging you to text and drive, right? But I get your point. Hey, maybe Microsoft can make a commercial, about don't text and drive. Wouldn't that be something? So where does it end from here? I don't know. I really don't know. I think probably all 50 states should have at least the option of having this so-called Textalyzer. And then it's up, I guess, to the local governments if they want to enforce something like this. I think it should at the very least be an option. I mean, I've seen videos, dash cams, of accidents happening. It's sickening. Anyway, don't text and drive. Alright, so I'll give us a few more minutes and then I'll wrap it up. But those are my thoughts on texting and driving and the Textalyzer. So if anybody else would like to say something, or if anybody watching, don't be shy and say hello. By the way, this is for a future topic, but does anybody know what this is? It's kind of fuzzy, but does anybody know what that is? It's from 1999. I think it still works. This might be a tip. Doesn't work. Oh, needs batteries. Die. Checking my messages here on my phone since I'm not driving. Okay. Alright, so any final thoughts? This will be a short live event tonight, so. Mavica digital camera. I guess that's a good guess, but no. It is not a digital camera. One more guess. You're welcome, Oscar. Thanks for stopping by on the stream. Always a pleasure having you on. Not a camera. Another hint. Let's see. What hint can I give you? Well, it's made by Sony. There's Sony logo. It has to do with audio. This was so cool when it first came out. Yeah, it has to do with audio, if you can guess. Oscar, you got it right. It is a mini disc recorder from Sony. You know what, Oscar? Hang on. You get a prize. Hang on, I have it right here, Oscar. You get the proverbial cookie. Yay! Well, it's actually a cracker, but that's right. I think I'll have a cracker. I think it still works. I'll have to test it. And maybe do a live flashback retrospective on this cool device that didn't last long, but it can record in digital format. Built-in mic jack. It didn't record very long on a disc, but that's exactly what it was, a mini disc recorder, MD recorder. I'll have to test it one of these days. So anyway, congratulations, Oscar, you got it right. Alright, so another minute, I'll wrap this up. If anybody else wants to stop by and say hello, this is your chance. Yay! I don't have a real cookie around, but I gotta test this later, maybe tomorrow, but I got a bunch of mini discs laying around somewhere. Yeah, let's see, 8-bit guy in the Westlife. He's into the, yeah, he buys, I know Westlife, he goes to like auction, not auction, he goes to like a Goodwill store, thrift store, and buys used, you know, electronics. I guess he has a collection. I'm not sure if I could do that, but although I do have some old 8mm tapes that I wouldn't mind playing back, so maybe I can pick up a like an old Sony 8mm camera just to play back the tapes. Anyway, you know, every time I see this in these colors, I think of the first Star Trek series back in the '60s with those colored discs. You know, isn't that kind of close to it, sort of? Anyway. It's actually pretty good shape. Maybe it's worth something. Well, maybe I'll put it in the Smithsonian Museum. But yeah, I know that V Westlife does quite a bit. He buys turntables, cassette decks. I mean, like stuff from. I thought I saw something from the '70s, some kind of tuner, stereo tuner, 8-track player even. But I guess he's into those type of things, you know. Cool collection, I guess. So, all right, last minute. If anybody else wants to say hello or stop by, and I'll wrap this up. Thanks to all of you tonight who joined me. You can catch this stream later on YouTube if you missed anything. We talked about the device called the Textalyzer. And yeah, I think it has the potential to save lives. And maybe cut back on so-called distracted driving. Man, you know, each day I drive, I find myself to be extra careful. When my red light turns green, even though it says green, I look left and look right. Just give it a second just to be safe, because all it takes is one idiot. And that's it. So. Okay, I don't have anything else for this evening, so your streams are always good, and I myself restore vintage hi-fi stuff. Well, that's interesting, Oscar. Do you have like an 8-track player? I'm just curious. I remember 8-tracks as a kid. I don't have any right now, but yeah. I need to stop at my local thrift store just to see what they got, just more out of curiosity. Drank too much Pepsi. Anyway. I know there's a slight delay here, so I don't think I missed anything. Okay, so you want to get one. Okay. 8-track player. Okay. Those didn't last long. I think they got eclipsed towards the late 70s, something like that. And then what, the CD came in around 82? 83? Something like that. I can't remember. Of course, in that decade, and really in the early 90s, we had the VHS, tape players. They were cool. Yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't mind having one, just to have one. Of course, now it's all digital. It's no fun anymore. It's all digital. Where's the cool 8-track cassette tapes? I guess you can still get vinyl online in some stores. I always liked having the album on vinyl, because of the full size. You can read the liner notes, stuff like that, and having the larger pictures, photographs. I am awesome 74 78. Hello, do you think Hackintoshes are worth it? Honestly, I don't know. I've seen a few videos on YouTube, and they seem like it, but I personally have no experience. But from what I've seen, I would probably say yes, they are worth it. 1984. Okay, Oscar. So yeah, somebody on YouTube built a used computer, like $100, even less, from thrift parts, and and made it into a Hackintosh, and he got it working. It seems really cheap, but okay. Audio cassettes for cars started being a big thing in the mid-70s. Okay. 74, that started the decline of the 8-tracks, which were essentially the same cartridges that radio stations used. That sounds about right, yeah. I still have cassette tapes lying around here. Actually here, my little stand here, also just a small stand, but I have a boom box, but the tape player broke. And the CD player works, but should I buy another boom box just to play tapes? I don't know, I've been thinking about it. But I've heard some of the boom boxes, they compared to what I have, mine has a true bass boost. These boom boxes, I mean, they sound awful, and they're not that cheap. Even the ones that are 50, 60 bucks, you would think they would sound good. I don't think so. But yeah. Hi Dog Dev, welcome. Hackintoshes are a pain in the rear to get working, at least for you. Well, that one dude on YouTube did not have a problem, or at least he knew what he was doing. I'll put it to you that way. So yeah, radio stations used carts for commercials, jingles, carts, intros, etc. Since you can't use Linux with the new NVIDIA graphics card, I guess I'll have to make it a Hackintosh. There's no drivers for the NVIDIA graphics? Graphics drivers with Linux are a hit and miss. Yeah, and that can be a pain. I know. Yeah, give it a try. Let me know how it works out. I mean, I have no interest in that personally, but give it a shot. Why not? Yeah, normally with Linux, you tend to have, from what I've seen in personal experience, you should have better luck with NVIDIA versus AMD for graphics with Linux, generally speaking. So, but again, that's a hit and miss. So, yeah. Anything else for tonight? Time is at 8:34. Yeah, I think maybe Rocco from Big Daddy Linux may jump on a live stream at 9. You may want to check that out if you have time, and tell him I sent you. Okay, well that's all I have for this evening. We've spoken about a product called the Textalyzer, a device to prevent what they call distracted driving, and I hope it works. That's all that I can say, because it's nasty out there. Be careful. Of course, please don't text and drive. So yeah, Hackintosh is easier if you pick the right hardware. True. Using the wrong hardware, and it's pretty much impossible. NVIDIA cards need newer kernels. Okay. Let's see. You found AMD graphics cards to be play with gaming, since they're open source and come directly from AMD. Again, graphics in Linux, I found it to be hit and miss. This particular machine, this gateway, I'm recording this or running this now in Windows 10, but I have Linux Mint Mate, and my screen goes blank at random times. It'll just go black and then come back on. You can't see it. It doesn't affect anything. It's kind of annoying, but again, there's no drivers for this particular machine, but so I let it be. Anyway, once again, graphics drivers in Linux are a hit and miss. So anyway, that's all I have for that topic. Alright, that's all I have for this one. I'll catch you on the next one. I may do one Sunday afternoon, possibly. If I decide, I'll post maybe some kind of a notice maybe tomorrow, which is Saturday, and then we'll go from there. So that's all I have for this one. For those of you who are watching and didn't say hello, please say hello next time. And I'm getting a cell phone call, so I guess maybe I should see. I don't recognize the phone number. Anyway, I'll call you guys back. Take care. Or check with you back next time. Bye-bye.